Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while a nigga here, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, give it back when we done. Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while a nigga here, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, give it back when we done. I'll give it back when we done. 10,000 hands in the air, have you ever seen? Work 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, do you ever dream? They in the red, but my stalk is green. Proud like I reached the clouds, all off a beam. Dreams on lucid, films on Lucas, sound on surround, and the crowd on stupid. Who that chick Dion? That's Dion on Clueless. You circling around the money, sitting in a Cupid car. Feel the dreams, they said I'm too corny. Funny, I got their ears all on me. Fears all gone and my peers all wrong. So keep your 2 cents in every phrase y'all coining. That's just common sense, all the hating, I honored it. I don't leak, I quantum it. I don't answer, I problem it. I just drop shit while they asking what a colonic is. Pinky, you know what I'm pondering? Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while a nigga here, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, give it back when we done. Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while a nigga here, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, give it back when we done. I'll give it back when we done.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck, real Cowboys fan. Stand up. Hopefully everyone's having a good Wednesday out there. And I know I dropped the video this morning, but decided to go live again because you guys have been following the content for a while. You guys know that we've been doing the improv lives. You know, we've been kind of just off the cell phone stuff. But I always tell you guys in the off season, this is where I personally like to work on my craft, like to work on different things. And, you know, honestly, when it comes to producing your own show, not a lot of people know. So it's my dog Henny in the chat, right? There's always things breaking. You know what I'm saying? So there's always things breaking. So y'all know for the past few weeks, the phone lines has been down. I got the phone lines up, but now the chat's down. And I fixed the chat. And then now all of a sudden, my software just streams to random old videos that I've already had set and done in the past. So we're not going to talk about Brian Schottenheimer changing the culture today. We didn't talk enough about culture. I don't want to hear the word culture, y'all, for the rest of the damn summer. So we're not going to talk about the culture. We're actually going to talk about something slightly different. But sometimes YouTube content creation has a mind of its own, but I want to kind of use this opportunity while we're kind of going through the dark, dead days of summer to improve the stream, work on my graphics, work on the production. So then that way, once the season gets here, we'll be all systems a go. Going to turn on the phone lines today here in a little bit. Want you guys to call in, just talk to me. Hopefully it doesn't blow y'all speakers. I fixed that. I patched it. I tried it 4 or 5 times. I had Rome call me, DMV call me. I had my mama call me. Like, yo, why does every time I turn on the phone lines, it blows the speakers? So hopefully I have it patched and have it fixed, but we'll see how it all goes. But salute to everybody in the chat. I see Kelvin in the building. I see Daniel in the building. What's going on? Henny in the building. Slee Easy in the building. Regina, what's going on with you? Lee in the building. Keystone, my dog, in the building. Oak Cliff, Rockefeller, what's going on with your dog? My guy Mills in the building. What's going on with you? Los Altos, what's going on with you? Darnell, what's going on with you? Everybody watching across social media platforms. So what I wanted to do quickly before we turn on the phone lines is talk about another key addition to the Dallas Cowboys. And when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, the one thing you cannot knock Brian Schottenheimer for doing this year, he's put together a well-put staff, right? We talked about, Coach Connor Riley. We already talked about Clayton Adams a little bit, but we didn't dive too deep. We'll talk about that, but you guys are familiar. But today we're also going to talk about the wide receiver coach, Junior Adams. And I think the thing that I really like about Shotty, his staff, is he has some older guys, some guys with 15, 16 years experience who kind of been long in the tooth, right? He's been around for quite some time, but he also has some younger guys, some young spirited guys coming from the college ranks. And I feel like what's going to happen is these new coaches, these younger, now of course they're not young, but these younger coaches are going to be a little bit more energetic. They're going to be able to speak the language of these players. They're going to be able to understand these players. You know, the fans, right? Somebody got these old fans, these old rocking chair fans that sit back in their old rocking chairs and say, I hate these players with podcasts. And back in my day, like, I feel like Schotty has gotten some new spirit and some new blood in here, and I'm definitely excited about it. So like I said, what I want to talk to you guys about today is Coach Junior Adams. Now, when it comes to Coach Adams, right, he played for some other schools, started at some smaller schools, right, but Eastern Washington was a wide receiver coach. And I think the one that a lot of people really tie him to is that he recruited Cooper Kupp, where Cooper Kupp went for 1,600 yards as a freshman, right? So the Eagles offense finished top 10 in passing all 5 years when Coach Adams was there. Then he transferred to Boise. Now, I really want you guys to kind of put that in the back of your head, right? That he was at Boise for a little bit, right? Because we'll talk about that here in a second, right? But at Boise State, wide receiver coach, first season, they were 9th in scoring, averaging 39 points a game. And he was promoted to their passing game coordinator in 2016. Went to Western Kentucky as an offensive coordinator. They were ranked 7th in passing, averaged 335 passing yards. So he's kind of went through the ranks, he kind of was a wide receiver coach / coordinator / so he's kind of gone through the ranks, and everywhere he's been, their passing game has been phenomenal. Like I said, 335 passing yards per game at Western Kentucky. Then he went to Washington, right? Now, why did he go to Washington? Because the coach from Boise went to Washington, all right? Do you guys know who was the coach at Boise? Let me know. This is an old classic video that I dropped back in the day, you know what I'm saying? One of my kind of claim to fame videos, right? But when it comes to Coach Peterson, who was the Boise State coach, he then went to Washington to coach the Washington Huskies. The story, they had Roma Dunze, Jalen McMillan. He's also coached Puka Nacua. And then he went over to Oregon and was the co-offensive coordinator / wide receiver coach, where they had Troy Franklin, of course, Tez Johnson. The list goes on and on. So when it comes to Coach Junior Adams, very decorated wide receiver coach at the college ranks. Yep, there you go, Gerald. Bang. Coach Chris Peterson. Now, Coach Chris Peterson is a mentor to Coach Junior Adams, but he was also a mentor to, drum roll, y'all know the answer to that, to Kellen Moore. So there could be some instances where Coach Adams can still give you that Kellen-esque thing that I know some Cowboys fans kind of miss. Me personally, I felt like Kellen Moore was a good play designer. He wasn't a good play caller, right? He just really didn't know when to call it. He had all these plays, throwing the ball to Terrence Steele, but he just didn't know when to press the actual button, right? So I felt like Kellen Moore, love him or hate him, y'all, he is a very intricate and detailed football mind. Like, he is a smart guy when it comes to the game of football. Now, is he a leader of men? We'll have to see how that works out in New Orleans, but that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to a football mind, Kellen Moore was one of those guys. And Coach Peterson, he was a very important piece of that, because Kellen was raised up, his dad coach, Boise, list goes on and on. So some of those DNA traces will be in Coach Adams. And like I said, he coached Cooper Kupp, which is the one he's most notorious. Now, I wish that Cooper Kupp would have came and just joined the man. Cooper Kupp said, I had a lot of coaches throughout my career as a football player. None have had a greater impact on me than Coach Adams. His ability to coach wide receiver position is unmatched due to his knowledge of the game as a whole, as well as ability to maximize the potential of every one of his players physically and mentally. The best there is, Cooper Kupp. Well, Cooper Kupp, when Dak and CeeDee called you, bro, where was that energy? You know what I'm saying? All right, Cooper Kupp, I appreciate you speaking so highly of Coach Adams, but when Dak and CeeDee called you, where was that? It's okay. We handled it. You know what I'm saying? But it would have been a nice addition if we would have got Cooper Kupp. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have been with Coach Adams. So, when it comes to Coach Adams, like I said, I think he's a guy that's an energy guy. He is going to be able to get the most out of these wide receivers. He's going to be, it said Cooper Kupp would have come, Jerry wanted to pay him in Groupon. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got an old coupon, you know what I'm saying, Henny, that I could possibly use, man. You know what I'm saying? I got your money, but I ain't got it on me right now. We all got them homeboys. Hey, bro, let me hold something. I get it back to you next week, knowing damn well you're not going to get next week, right? But when it comes to Coach Adams, like I said, I feel like he is going to get the most out of this wide receiver core. And I think CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb, right? We already know what CeeDee Lamb is, but the guy that I think that Coach Adams is going to help the most will be George Pickens, right? I think that with George Pickens, Coach Adams is really going to take a liking to him, and I think he's going to put him under the wing. And I think that Pickens is really going to grow fond of Coach Adams. And also, don't be mad at the messenger. I think Jalen Tolbert is going to like Coach Adams as well, because I went back and just watched how he kind of spoke when he was at Oregon and some of his other roles. And I'm not going to bore you guys to death with past interviews, right? But here's what Coach Adams kind of had to say about his time in Oregon, about the camaraderie and about the wide receiver room that he had.
How do guys separate themselves from each other and kind of rise to the top of that?
There's a lot of talent, right? But it's all about what you're doing day to day. Guys just making plays and competing against each other. But again, that room is, like I said,
guys making plays, competing, right? You're hearing that word across the board when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys staff and also players. I like that C word, to be honest with you, better than the other one. I like hearing compete versus culture. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video.
What happens in those four walls happens in that four walls. They're a tight-knit group. They cheer each other on. They root for each other. The cool thing about it is they help each other out. You can see those guys in the meeting room and how they attack the meeting. And you can see them turn back. Tez, for example, turn back and talk to one of the freshmen. It's like, hey, this is what the signal is. This is what the play is. They're all helping each other out. The way practice ended, Evan made a big play, and you can see everybody on, the whole receiving core and the whole offense and everyone over there, and just, helmet tapped them. So it was really cool to see the way we ended.
So he's really talking about unity in the wide receiver room. It's not a situation, and I watched one of his interviews. He was saying, hey, our philosophy is we don't have any wide receiver ones. Everyone is out here hunting for their opportunity. When they get their opportunity, you take the best of it, right? And so I think that's going to be a good mindset to have with this wide receiver core. Now, of course, we all know we do have a wide receiver one, clearly, right? But not that type of mentality in the wide receiver room is definitely going to help. Now, here's what Coach Adams had to say when he got interviewed when he became a wide receiver coach for the Dallas Cowboys.
Leadership or motivator style, what do you contribute that to?
As far as motivating, I think the most important thing for me is, and this is what I'm really doing right now with these guys, is just really working on just connecting, right? Just diving into the person, diving into who they are, their family, their background. I think that's the most.
I like that. And see, that kind of coexists with the shoddy mantra, right? So if you guys want to call it culture, sure, why not, right? But I feel like this staff is really getting to know these players on a personal level, not just football, getting to know each individual player as a person. Who's their family? What's their mama like? How many kids they got? What's their kid's name? Like, those types of conversations are being had in Dallas, and Coach Adams explains why that is important.
Important piece, because when we can connect, and that's when the trust is built, and that's the most important part of it.
When the scouts come to you and ask about the most important traits that you want, whether it's from a physical nature or character-wise, what do you tell them? Because this is the important part of the year, just there, putting the board together.
When I talk about a wide receiver and evaluating them, or the traits, most importantly, would be, I always say, competitive, tough.
Competitive, right? Always looking for someone who's going to be competitive,
and intelligent, right? And we acronym that with CTI.
Yeah, competitive, tough, and intelligent, right? And so I like that. CTI. Now, we don't need a T-shirt. We don't need no T-shirt, but when it comes to Coach Adams, I like his composure. I like what I think that he's going to bring to this wide receiver core, and I think it's going to help a lot, you guys, because I felt like last year, of course, let's keep it a buck, it was just CeeDee Lamb and them. It was just CeeDee Lamb and them. Now, Jalen Tolbert, he tried. He was doing the best he could, but y'all remember the whole conversation point about Troy Aikman. When Troy Aikman came out and said they run lazy routes, right? I don't think that's going to be the case under Junior Adams, right? I feel like he's going to get the most out of these guys. Now, of course, he's going to have more talent, but I think that you're going to see a different type of mindset when it comes to our wide receiver core as a whole. And I think that when you have a Jalen Tolbert, I know my dog Rome don't really like Jalen Tolbert like that, right? But it's like when you have a Jalen Tolbert step up that can be a good quality wide receiver 3 or 4, however we want to slice it, it takes the pressure off of CeeDee Lamb. I feel like CeeDee Lamb had to do way too damn much playing with hurt shoulders and everything because we just didn't have the wide receiver room. I feel like now we not only have the personnel, but we now have a leader in Coach Adams that can push them in the right direction. My dog DMV in the building says, hit that like button. Yeah, smash that like button. My dog DMV, man, cover 3 in the building. If you guys haven't followed or subscribed to this channel already, I don't know what the hell, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the hell the wait is all for. But definitely give my guy a follow, man. DMV, man, one of the best in the business out there doing good film sessions. My guy Darnell says Tolbert isn't a fan of mine. Oh, you got some Tolbert beef? You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all got Tolbert beef, right? A lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all got Tolbert beef. I'm a Tolbert guy, I would say, you know, because I kind of found him. Now, I'm not saying that he's the solution and what we've been missing all this time, right? But I feel like when it comes to Jalen Tolbert, he did the most with the opportunity that he had. You know, he was a 3rd round pick. He was never going to be a Amari Cooper. He was never going to be a Amari Cooper replacement. But yeah, looking for Mingo to bypass him. That's going to be a conversation. And we're talking about that. It was me, Professor O, I think Tom Downey, right? Because you have CeeDee, okay? You have George Pickens. So it's so nice and refreshing to say that we got George Pickens as a wide receiver too. You know what I'm saying? It's already refreshing to say that when it comes to GP3, all right? Then the conversation comes down to wide receiver 3, okay? And I think it's really going to come down to the details. Who is going to be your shiftier guy, all right? Now, I will say this, depending on just formations, just football ideology. So to my dog Lou in the building. What's up, Lou? It's hard for me to see situations where you're going to have Pickens and Mingo on the field because they're pretty much the same player, like same mold, same tree, same, you know, like, so it's kind of the same player when it comes to Mingo and also Pickens. I would be hard pressed to think that Pickens is going to be the guy. Me personally, if it's me, this is just little on me, Turpin is my wide receiver 3. Like, I think Turpin would be my wide receiver 3 if it's me. If it's up to me, you know what I'm saying? I would probably go with CeeDee. I would go with Pickens, and I would go Turpin to be your field stretcher, your underneath guy, simple drag routes, get the ball in his hand, underneath screen, and just let him go crazy, right? But if that's not going to be the, and I don't think it's going to be the, I think that was kind of the Mike McCarthy old man stuff. This guy right here, he's had speed. You know what I'm saying? Evan Stewart at Oregon right now, speed. You know, even though he didn't have the best 40 time, you know, Tez Johnson, it's faster. It's faster guys. It's shiftier guys. So if there's anyone that's going to know how to unlock a Kevontae Turpin, it's going to be Coach Adams. It's going to be a Coach Adams, right? He's going to know how to unlock Kevontae Turpin. So I would definitely, if Kevontae Turpin was a stock, buy now. You know what I'm saying? He's like Palantir. No, actually, you shouldn't buy Palantir right now. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But he's one of those stocks on the rise that I would 1,000% invest in when it comes to Kevontae Turpin, because I feel like Coach Adams is going to be able to unlock him. And once again, right, we went through Connor Riley, play calling, offensive coordinator experience. Even though it was minimal with Coach Adams, offensive coordinator experience. We'll talk about Ken Dorsey next week. Offensive coordinator experience, Clayton Adams. So you have a bunch of guys with play calling, coordinator experience in-house to help kind of mold Schotty, you know? So I think that, yeah, Coach Adams will be like, hey, I know how to get this. I know how to get this guy the ball. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get Kevontae Turpin involved in the offense and unlock it, right? So I would expect to see a huge uptick when it comes to Kevontae Turpin, okay? Take Kevontae Turpin out of it, I think that Jalen Tolbert still gets the go, right? Homegrown, we like our guys. Salute for the super chat. My guy Fresh King says, I thought our biggest addition offseason was a revamped coaching staff. Love this feature. Yeah, man. I mean, at first, let's keep it a buck. We keep it real. A lot of us wasn't too keen on the Schotty thing. You know, no one said, oh my God, we got Brian Schottenheimer. This is who I wanted. If they say that, they are lying their ass off. If they said they're lying their ass off. But I think that once we started to see the staff that he started putting together, that's when our eyes started to poke up. Okay. Connor Riley. Okay. Oh, Clayton Adams. All right. Oh, shit. Junior Adams. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. So I think once he started putting that staff together, that is when people really started to get a little excited when it came to Brian Schottenheimer. Because like I said, the good thing about him is he is mixing some of those old... Yeah, Big Game James was on it from the beginning for whatever reason. I think he said because he's a Leo or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think he's mixing these older guys with some of these younger guys, and so you get that kind of a good mixture. What I think about David Overstreet, the secondary coach, we will get to defense probably in 2 weeks. We'll get the defense side of the ball in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about him. I didn't dislike Schotty. Let me go to this. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, see, the chat is broken. So typically y'all can see the chat on the screen, but I did something and it messed it up and it deleted it. So I got to revamp it. I didn't have time because it's about the time. Right. I didn't dislike Schotty, though I was worried about front office would pick staff for him, but Schotty took full control, like what we wanted out of Dion. Yeah, I think that's the important piece, right? He got to control his own destiny as of now, right? You know what I'm saying? As of now, right? He got to do that. And we'll see how that, fares out through his tenure in Dallas. But as of now, I like that his philosophies and what he really wants to do is being in play. Now, I said in my video this morning, hey, don't just stop with your coaching staff. Don't just stop with your offense, right? Go upstairs and say, no, I need my defensive player signed and Micah Parsons. I need my defensive leader signed now, bro. I cannot have Micah missing camp, all right? So let's just get that done. So that's one thing I would like to see Schotty kind of let him hang on the table and say, yo, go get me my lion, bro. Like, let's not play the games. Let's not Micah who. Go get me my lion. Real fans heard Schotty's presser last season and knew he was going to be a decent coach. Possibly, we shall see. I love Schotty's experience and thought way overdue, so why not us? I mean, I don't want to be the experimentation, you know what I'm saying? But but here's the thing. I'll say if it's between Schotty, Kellen, hell, some people are talking about Rex Ryan and shit. Like, okay, cool, I'll take Schotty. But I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. If it was Robert Saleh available, I would have took Robert Saleh and just kept Schotty as the offensive coordinator and just kept things moving. That's just me personally, but we're way past that. I wasn't like some fans saying they hated the hire, but I ain't singing his praises for anything, including the coaching staff at this time. Yeah, I get it, right? Week 6. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Y'all ain't got to follow my lead or anything, right? But y'all know me. I'm week 6. We'll see how it all works out, and then we'll kind of go from there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, agreed. I love that he was part of the getting Pickens trade. Yeah, and that's new. Yeah, that's new because the Pickens trade is completely new. Who is Junior Adams, Tim? Junior Adams is our wide receiver coach who came from the University of Oregon. So Coach Junior Adams came from college, and like I said, very good hire. All right, so keep the questions flowing. I'm gonna talk to y'all for like 45 more minutes or so. Like I said, I'm gonna stop. You're gonna have to keep me, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna keep me honest. I'm gonna try to stop doing the just going live on my cell phone thing. Cause I gotta admit, Tuck, that's lazy as shit. But I just like to do it, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I'm on the go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stop doing the cell phone improv live streams. Though we have fun, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop being lazy. So we're gonna start turning up a little bit. So I got the phone lines open. Let's see if we don't blow any speakers this time. All right, so you guys can go ahead and give me a call. Let's see if this works. It should, right? 530-399-4100. Press the access code 506-9493 and smash pound town. And go ahead and ask the questions, and we can kind of chop it up with y'all, but also keep the questions flowing in the chat. I had the phone lines on for the longest. You know what I'm saying? I had it on like a long time ago, right? And I had the phone lines originally because everyone's like, yo, Tuck, I want to come on your show, or I want to talk ball versus you, or some of these haters want to go toe to toe. I'm like, all right, bro, phone lines. You know what I'm saying? I don't duck no smoke. Like, phone lines is on, and people really don't call. You know what I'm saying? So, one, it was blowing my speakers out because I was doing something wrong, but I patched it, hopefully. And then it was like, all right, it wasn't being used, so I turned the phone lines off. But I'm going to turn the phone lines on. We're going to get it geared up, especially for this season, because I know people are going to want to call in this season and definitely talk. I'm judging everything Schotty does at this point. I want to see how he handles training camp, preseason, in-game adjustments, how much he delegates responsibilities, all of that. Henny's watching him like a hawk. You know what I'm saying? Henny is watching him like a hawk. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him a little leash. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. Salute to my dog, BJ Nick's in the building. What's going on with you, dog? Nick's, did you start a new channel? I think my dog Nick started a new channel. Definitely give him a follow, man. If you don't know, Nick is one of the OGs, man, in this game. So definitely subscribe to Nick's new channel, I thought. Something like that. So, yeah. All right. So, got the phone lines on. All right. Put my headphones on. And let's chat and let's see if we don't blow our speakers. All right. Yo, caller, state your name. Where you from?
Okay. All right. Hey, this Sean. This is Sean. So I ain't gonna lie. So the Saudi, I was on Saudi before anybody else too. I was with James, Big Game James, and he's a Libra.
Okay.
The reason why I was on Saudi before anybody else was because he wasn't I needed an underdog coach. I needed somebody like they didn't see coming. The reason why is because I feel like Jerry has a tendency, he wants to be right every single time.
Okay.
And if he chooses the person and everybody hates it, him and Steven works twice as hard to prove like, hey, this is the guy. Because there ain't no other reason why Jason Garrett should have been coaches as long. He should have been coach.
Right.
So I think that's the positive. Now, this is my own personal opinion. The only way for Jerry and them to really buy into Schottenheimer's situation is he has to win. And I don't mean that 12-5 that Mike McCarthy was doing, because it was great. It was fantastic. I mean, you kind of get further into the playoffs.
Okay.
And that, I think that's when they'll look and say, oh, wow, like, okay, like we can actually do something with him. Because like you said, that Jordan Pickett pick came out of nowhere. And it was so exciting and so sporadic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something new. Now, here comes the downside of it. Them kind of doing that is now we're having deficiency in other positions, and now everybody's too excited to really point them type of deficiencies out.
Right.
Like the defensive tackle position.
Right.
Like the cornerback position. My personal opinion, because some people laughed at me because I said this in law, I think the safety position is something we need to like look at too, because one, Malik Hooker is getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Wanye has some experience. He hasn't had the best experience, and I just feel like that's something kind of like we need to look at and look into.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final thing would be for all Cowboy fans, I completely understand if you're not really all bought into the Saudi thing. But the one thing I've been looking for, Tuck, like I think Boss was talking about this. It's called #wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
In every winter time, like I feel like we try to throw our way out of situations, and you can't do that when it comes time for January and December, because if you do, it's like you're setting yourself up for failure, because it's harder to catch the ball, it's slippery, it's all these things. But the two things that can travel anywhere is running game and defense, and I just feel like that's been my adamant thing, is that if we can, when it's time to get to the playoff, when it's time to strap up, if you can out physical that person or out physical that team, you can make it further. Philly just proved to us that we can do that, and that you can win championships in that scenario. It's not all glitz and glamour. Like, we went from throwing the ball over 40, 50 times like Mahomes and stuff like that to actually, hey, handing that ball up, and I'm going to beat you like old school football. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Cowboys, their best, and when they're at their best is when they're running the football and when they're actually taking quality time off the clock and giving defense rest, and so we can be able to do what we have to do and be able to win games. Because now we're in a schedule where, ain't no running, there's no hiding.
Right.
You can't sit up here and beat up these easy teams like the Giants or Commanders. Not bad no more.
Right.
You can't do all this other stuff you used to do with them 40 or 50 balls. Now you have to buckle up and actually be like, all right, this is going to be a football game.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no sit up here trying to pick six, like breaking pick six records like Bland and all this other stuff. You really going to have to make the commitment to actually win and actually play physical football.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I agree. You hit a few points, right? I'll talk about the last one you talked about, is that, I know that, Lou and also Boston, a few others have the winners coming. I was saying I would remix it just slightly, because I feel like winter's here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to go to Philadelphia and really establish the line of scrimmage, be able to run the game and play a balanced attack, because if not, you're not going to be able to win that game dropping back, throwing 40 plus times, right? Even with George Pickens, as good as I think he will be. So I think that right now, I understand the mindset for Cowboys fans is that we're going to be this run team, because we've been getting sold that all off season. We will see week 1 on Thursday Night Football versus the Eagles if it's talk or if it's real. And what do I mean by that? It's easy to commit to the run game when there's no live action bullets. Let's see when you're getting run stuff versus that Philadelphia front. Are you going to commit to it? Are you going to abandon it? Who is really going to step up and fill that void, whether it's Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jadon Blue, or Phil Maffa, or who knows, right? So we'll be able to see earlier on if this is really going to be run the damn ball full committed, or is it we're going to run it, and if it's not working, the same old, abandon it. Now, when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, I just want to clarify. So you're saying that the expectations this year is for him to leapfrog the 12-5 Mike McCarthy and take us over that perennial hump. Is that what you're saying this year, or is it going to be just in the future?
Yeah. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like he should have got an opportunity. But let's really go look back at what Mike did. Mike took the team that was 8-8, it made them go multiple times 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. That wasn't enough for it. Because my thing was, why on his final year, right when like he about to leave, why did you lowball? Why they lowball? Because they didn't believe in him. And I think Jerry's looking for a quick and fast answer. He's looking for something quick and fast.
Well, let me pause you. No, they didn't lowball him. They didn't lowball him. There was other stuff going on. The reason why the deal, because the deal wasn't about the dollars. It was about the length of the contract, right? And there were some other people that Mike McCarthy really didn't rock with who was eligible for a contract, and things really didn't shape out. But they wanted Mike McCarthy back. They really wanted Mike McCarthy back because it is completely unfair to pin this season's results on Mike McCarthy when you had no Dak Prescott, no DeMarcus Lawrence. Your left tackle you drafted was a little bit faulty. Zach Martin was in his final year, pretty much. You had no defensive tackles. Your linebacker core was injured. You had Trayvon Diggs go down. You had Deron Bland have a foot injury. And we want to blame Mike McCarthy for last season. There is no chance in hell you could blame Mike McCarthy for last year, because if the players did not really like Mike McCarthy and rally for him, I have about 4 or 5 Travis Hunter jerseys in my closet. This team liked Mike McCarthy. They rallied for him and Coach Zimmer. They fought hard. You had J. Lou come out and say, I would like to see Mike McCarthy be able to coach and do things his way. Dak Prescott even echoed those same sentiments. So I feel like placing last year's results on Mike McCarthy is completely unfair. The Green Bay, okay, we can have that one. But last year, what was he supposed to do with what he had? I mean, he actually did more with less than anyone I've seen in Dallas in a long, long time.
I agree. And I was saying with the Mike McCarthy was that Jerry didn't really give him the things he needed. Because he said out in public, like, hey, like, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to my players waiting to almost the game right before, like signing Dak Prescott right before the game starts, or having CeeDee sit out for so long. So when he comes back, like, they don't have that connection they used to have. That's what I was kind of saying, because I thought what they did to Mike on his last tender was wrong. Like, I feel like they should have had some type of urgency. Like, this guy has gave you 12 and 5 opportunities. Like, I get it, like the situation of the Green Bay and all these other things, which I understand, but it's like it was wrong of them to just be like, all right, Mike, we're not gonna go as hard as we did when you first came in.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But I saw the Mike McCarthy setup from a mile away. I called it last offseason, right? You can kind of just tell, right? So it's just one of those things. So I hopefully that's not the case with Schotty. Hopefully, since he is an underdog, he was a questionable hire. Let's just keep it a buck. The one thing that I think is going to help Schotty is that the Joneses are going to want to be proven right. So they're probably going to try to get him a little bit more than what they're going to do for Mike McCarthy. So, hey, appreciate you, my dog, for calling in, man. We got more callers waiting, man. But go Cowboys, bro.
No Cowboys.
All right. Let's see here. Next caller. Let's see here. Bang. Got the phone lines working. We're not blowing y'all speakers today. Yo, caller, state your name. Where you from?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on with you, bro? Who's this?
Hey, this is D Shift, man, 409.
Hey, what's going on with you, dog?
Not much, man. I'm curious, man. I've been of course, listening and narrative behind a couple positions like the linebacker and running back spots in position. They ain't start with too much optimism, but man, I've been hearing. I forgot who I was listening to, but somebody was trying to like basically talk the audience into like Miles Sanders, and you've been hearing some things about Sanborn. He's just kind of one of those guys we got, and then slowly, certain little things of optimism are rolling out. How much of that are you buying, Tuck? And you changing? You feeling a little bit better about those spots?
No, not at all. Not at all, man. And I'm a little bit different, right? I'm from the perspective, if I can't see it, I'm not going to believe it, right? Because what's happening right now, you're kind of going off of just blind tweets, right? Whether it's, and no knock to the reporters or whoever's there, right? But you're not seeing it yourself. And I was saying this in this morning's video. We haven't even seen the mushroom helmets. Have y'all seen anyone out there wearing any mushroom helmets, the concussion helmets? No. Reason why? Because they're not doing any full contact. So it's easy to look like a superstar right now. It's easy to flow in traffic, and all you're pretty much judging is like movement. We'll see once we get to camp. That way we can kind of see for ourselves. I'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. We'll have preseason film. We'll have all of that. But going blindly off of just a few tweets of everybody looks good. That's what I've been saying. Name me a player who's been talked about that's looked bad at OTAs. There hasn't. You know what I'm saying? I saw right now some Cleveland Browns reports were posting that Shedeur Sanders stats. Like, I think we kind of understand, though we're excited for football because we kind of miss it and we know we're getting the summer, we have to pump the brakes and don't get too excited until you can see it conceptually with your own two eyes. That's just how I'm moving personally.
All right, man. I've also been kind of passing around this question too, because I'm at a point right now where I feel like, man, I think you got maybe closer to the season or maybe mid-season. That second round pick got some value to trade and get you somebody right now, and honestly, maybe even get you a for sure guy versus the gamble that is the second round pick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You go back and look at our second round picks, man. We've had Diggs was our outlier.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else has been kind of solid at best. You might get a couple years from some guys to be like, hey, man, you see, this is why you don't trade your picks. But a lot of those guys, Connor Williams, Tristan Hill, just a bevy of them, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Joseph. You just had a lot of second rounders that haven't worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, man, you're in a spot where you're not that far away from making a couple moves that make you a true contender.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're just in a position where if a whole bunch of things went other people's way and you stayed lucky with health
mm-hmm.
and progression, you might be able to contend. But I feel like, we might need another guy. So,
right.
Cap-wise, you're not paying a lot of guys. That contract is going to be up here in a couple of years. It's getting more manageable as the years go. So I'm just saying, like, why not go ahead and take a second round pick? And even if you got a guy who you have to turn around and sign next year, at least you have the rights to that guy. So many times we don't even have the opportunity to even sit down and talk to certain type of players because those teams are going to sign them as soon as everybody's not like us where they're going to drag out the contract. They're going to get their
mm-hmm.
player signed.
Right.
And so most times to get that type of player, you got to have at least the rights to that player. You know what
right.
I mean? So while you might look at it like, oh, well, second round pick, man, that's kind of wasting, getting a guy who you got to turn around and sign versus using that second round pick to have the rights to a guy for 4 years. But yet that 4 years is, like I say, Tristan Hill, Connor Williams, Kelvin Joseph, all these other guys. Then why not get a Pro Bowl player right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that way, you can have the rights to them. You can have first dibs at sign them to a new contract, things like that.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with you. And this is kind of the conversation I was having in a video I think I did two or 3 days ago, right? It goes back to the old Kobe Bryant conversation. Job's not finished. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what's happening is some Cowboys fans like, oh, we got Pickens, draft was cool. I like Shotty's interviews. We're kind of done. And the thing that I really question was the Pickens thing really a football move? Like they really just believed that they had to go get George Pickens? Or was it so loud and polluted amongst the Cowboys fan base when we walked out of that draft and didn't get a wide receiver? They were like, we got to give these people something, right? Because the conversation was Pickens was the second option, y'all. They went for Rashad Bateman, and then the Ravens hung up the phone and said, nah, you know what I'm saying? They overcharged, right? Then they searched for Pickens. So it wasn't like they just knew they were going for Pickens. They already had these conversations. But, I really think that the Cowboys, what they're going to do, y'all, is that they're going to go to camp. You might get you another kind of Jordan Phillips, Linval Joseph-esque defensive tackle, but they're going to kind of believe in the guys that they got here. Jay Toye, some of those guys, Rodgers, maybe take a leap. They're going to go out there and see if they can get away with it. And then if not, maybe they will pull the plug. Now, will they do that with the second round pick for defensive tackle? Probably not. But I feel like they're probably going to be done for now. If I had to gauge it, and I don't know anything, Cowboys Nation, I would say they'll probably bring some players in, but it's not going to be anyone that we're going to be jumping on tables about. It'll be like, okay, let's kind of see if it works. So I feel like the Cowboys are going to feel like they're kind of done for right now. And they're going to go to camp, kind of see how things shake out. But the problem is when you do that, bro, is that the price increases. You know what I'm saying? Because teams will sit back and say, oh, the Dallas Cowboys ain't got no defensive tackle. Well, I was going to take a third for them, but y'all desperate right now. I think I'm on the first. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the situation we always back ourselves in. Think about the wide receiver position when we had to go get T.Y. Hilton. The teams knew we needed a wide receiver, so the price has increased for y'all because y'all are bleeding out because you don't have that position. So we'll see how it all unfolds, but I think they're probably set with their roster for now until we get to camp.
That's a bit, man. Because I was just saying, man, like, come this season, if you're a team that looks like, well, shit, you headed to the draft and you have you're not gonna do anything in the playoffs. You might want to pick up that second round pick, kind of like with George Pickens thing, right?
Right.
I'm not gonna do anything with this. We're not contending this year anyway, so yeah, we'll take a third round pick.
Right.
So I'll say that's sweet, man. It can go both ways. I see what you're saying about our desperation, but teams they get desperate every year, or So man, I appreciate your thoughts, bro.
All right, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Doc.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I understand. Like, this is what I was kind of preaching. The job is not finished, Cowboys Nation. I know it feels good right now. Hell, I'm still on cloud 9 that we got George Pickens, but I'm not buying a George Pickens jersey, not with that number 3. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't trust it. I don't trust George Pickens in that number 3. No. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't getting the jersey. But I'll say this: there's still work to be done. I feel like defensive tackles area concern for me. Not sure what's happening with the corner thing because Trayvon Diggs is not showing up. And he said, you know what, I'd rather train on my own and lose $500,000 than to come back and work out with your trainers and work out in Frisco. So could there be a rift there with Trayvon? I know there was conversations that the Cowboys are looking to move on from him next year. So it could be a point, y'all, where we don't move off of a pick. But there's some players that we probably could trim the fat on a little bit and get them moved and see if a team is willing to give us some value back as far as a pick conversation is. And then we can maneuver from there. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle Deron Bland, how they're going to handle Trayvon. I feel like when it comes to our corners, it's going to be something we definitely keep our eye on. Patrick says, J Tuck, you and Boss Cowboy don't have much confidence in Maffa because he's a 7th-rounder. I say you both are going to maybe eat some crow, especially on Toye. I mean, I hope I eat crow. What's the crow to eat on a 7th-round pick, bro? And like I said, we are the only fan base that does this. I promise you, it's not a thing that you see around the league where we hype up a 7th-round pick or an undrafted guy to be the best on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, there is no way any of you can tell me that Jadon Blue, right? Even though I like Jadon Blue, or Phil Maffa was a better prospect coming out of college than Deuce Vaughn. You can't. Like, Deuce was the sole feature running back for Kansas State, and he struggled cutting through getting an opportunity, right? You have Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, though they're talking about he's looking better, but he's a veteran. You still have Jadon Blue. You still have Deuce Vaughn. There is mountains to climb with some of y'all favorite players. I mean, I got a guy, I think it's Anthony Keys. This is my dog Anthony, right? Every video I drop, it's like, watch out for Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden's going to shock a few people. Trayshawn Holden's going to take some jobs. Bro, Trayshawn Holden has so many damn battles to get before he can even get close to taking a roster spot. You got to cut through Jalen Brooks. You got to cut through Jonathan Mingo. You got to cut through Josh Kelly. Like, you got to cut through. You ever play Mortal Kombat and you got to fight up the tower. You got to fight up that tower before you get to Shea Khan. Be like, oh, Trayshawn Holden's going to be our wide receiver 3. Bro, wide receiver 3, just worried about getting your own number for now. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. We like the underdog story. We have Schottenheimer, underdog story, and Phil Maffa, underdog story, and, I get that, right? But in the reality of it, we do this every year, y'all. Every year. I remember Justin Rogers. We didn't need to get a defensive tackle. We had Justin Rogers. Who was the camp darling last year that everybody loved? I'm going to see if y'all remember. Who was the camp darling that everybody loved, and you probably haven't even mentioned him? Because I just went through a whole roster and I didn't mention him. Exactly, Rico. Everybody loved Ryan Flo. Oh my God. It was Ryan Flo season. Ryan Flo, I remember I was in Vegas. He caught a touchdown versus Vegas's starting corner. It was Ryan Flo season, Ryan Flo season, Ryan Flo season. I like Ryan Flo. I like Ryan Flo. I love Ryan Flo. Now, we don't even know if he's going to make the roster, yo. CeeDee, Pickens, Tolbert, Turpin. All right, then you got Mingo, you got Brooks, you got Cropper, you got Trayshawn Holt. Like you got to figure that stuff out first before we can get to this Rudy underdog story, y'all. So I'm not saying Phil Maffa is trash and he was a horrible pick or whatever, but to talk about him being an RB1, y'all, relax. Relax. He wasn't even an RB1 damn near at Clemson. Jadon Blue wasn't even RB1 at Clemson. You have some work to do. You have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do. Can we see? I'm going to ask one favor for y'all, all right? Can we see these players in pads first? Can we go through some NFL film of these players first before we start crowning them? Can we just get there? Can we get there first? Like, I get it. It's the offseason, the draft, undrafted. I get that, right? We all like it. I love it too. Y'all know I'm a draft guy. Can we just analyze some NFL film first before we start crowning all these players? That's all I'm asking. That's one little favor, right? One little favor, right? We got duped. Exactly. The star must be earned. The star must be earned. They ain't even tackling yet. They're not even wearing the concussion helmets yet because they're not. So how can we come out and say so-and-so is going to shock the world as a 7th round pick and become the savior of the season? They haven't even put on pads yet. Let us get to Oxnard. Oxnard is in July. It's next month, y'all. We're almost there. You guys follow this content. Y'all follow this channel long enough. Y'all know when we get to preseason, I'm going to drop a film session. Lou's going to drop a film session. DMV's going to drop. Okoye is going to drop. JC's going to drop. Skywalker's going to drop. Voch is going to drop. By the time we have some actual film to take a look at, you guys will be fully in the know of what type of player we have. Just a little bit, y'all. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta just a little bit, right? I get the excitement, Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Think about how many elite running backs that hasn't even panned out. You know what I'm saying? If you watch college football and you really watch college football, you would know Will Shipley was up here compared to Phil Maffa. Will Shipley was up here, right? compared to Phil Maffa. And Will Shipley can't even cut through damn near in Philly. Like, you got to understand these guys are transitioning from going against kids to going against grown-ass men, right? It's the grown-ass men that's playing this game to feed their family. We have to pump the brakes just a little bit. I get the excitement, but yeah. So y'all want me to jump out the window and say Phil Maffa's going to be RB1? That just sounds crazy to me. Make the roster first. You know, I remember Malik Davis. Malik Davis couldn't even cut through, and he actually showed out in games. Hunter Lupke can barely cut through and get some carries, right? Relax a little bit. Relax. Yo, caller, state your name. Where you from?
This is MJ from Cali.
Hey, what's going on with you, MJ? What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah, but I'll be watching y'all show. What the fans talking about, you got to remember, there's a lot of players with the coaching that the players didn't get their full, the way they play. We had bad coaching for the last 3 years. You got to remember, I was at the camp, and when Rodgers came there, he outplayed Mazda, even in the preseason games. He was way better than Mazda. He didn't get moved. And you got to remember, he played at SC, so he played against the big boys. And there was favoritism. That's why when he had a chance to leave, he left in Cincinnati. I don't know what they was thinking of, but then the Cowboys called him back at the end of the year. So, I don't know what that is. But sometimes the coaches make mistakes too. That's why I don't want to Schotty, because Schotty been in the league 20 years, and he turned down 3 gigs, and he made your boy from the Jets.
What gigs did he turn down that he was offered?
Well, he had some gigs. He even said it. He had a few gigs that had a chance, but he said he wasn't ready.
What head coaching jobs was he offered that he turned down?
I don't know. I just heard they had a few gigs, and he had a chance to coach. But that's not the thing. You got to let these players you got to coach these players up, and you got to put the people in the right position. Shotty, I'll give him an A+ because the staff he put together. The Jones didn't put that staff together. Shotty put that staff together. And that's why Arizona was so pissed, because that offensive coordinator, I saw how he ran over us, and they made us look like some fools. And he came third in running last year between Baltimore and Philly. So that scheme that they do, the coaching, then you got you did a thing, even on I saw the Kansas play, the Kansas State offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Coach Riley.
Offensive line coach. Uh-huh. He's good too. So you put that together, and it's funny, I gotta give him credit. I said, man, it was one thing he was missing. Even though I don't like the way he play calls sometimes, the quarterback coach. They stole the quarterback. That's a good quarterback coach, your boy, that came from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And now they got him on the staff. He's good for coaching He always been good at making quarterbacks go to another level. Mm-hmm. So their whole game plan, what they got with the defensive coordinator, the linebackers they got, this corner and safety team they got, always been good in coaching. So what they put together is a good coaching staff that could go with good play calling. That will get us over there. And what everybody's not forgetting, we won 7 games with bad coaching. Everybody got hurt. Noodle arms.
Oh, no.
And
how did we? So you're saying that everyone got hurt. We had noodle arms, but we still won games with bad coaching. So how are we winning games? How are we winning the game?
We won game. The coaching staff was okay. You know it, and I know it. That's what's been holding them back the last 3 years.
No,
wrong
that's not. No. Let's pause. Let's pause. Right when the Dallas Cowboys went to Tampa, okay, and beat Tom Brady, was we complaining about the coaching staff? No, you wasn't. Okay, let's run this one back because I remember it like it was yesterday. When the Dallas Cowboys were gearing up to play the Green Bay Packers, and I was the only person pretty much saying the warning signs, what was the fan base saying? Do you remember, MJ?
But the fan base thought we was going to win, but...
And what were they saying? What were they saying? Right? Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys don't lose at home. We have the best offense, right? Dak Prescott should have been the MVP. Remember all that?
Yeah. Well, we got flogged again. We got hoodwinked.
So during those periods, was it the coaching? Like, so what was it? Because nobody.
I'm gonna say something. Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was both.
It was both?
Sometimes the players got to step up and play, be men, and it's acting like women. No disrespect to my women that's listening. But the men was acting like women, and it's like Mike Irvin say, sometimes, man, you got to, if I put you, it's like you put me on your team. Marv, I'm playing corner, you got the scheme, Stone, you know what to do, bro. And then I get up there and play. If you play scared as a corner, okay, let me put it this way, and you know this, and I know this. I played corner in high school. I ran track. I was very fast, but it don't mean nothing. A 4.5 guy could burn a 4.3 guy. Let me say it to all the people that are listening. A 4.5 guy could burn a 4.3 guy with good route running. And you know, because you know about football, man. You played it.
Right.
And everybody keeps thinking that because you fast, they think you're the man. No.
Right.
If you don't study, you're going to get torched. The key is studying. Don't be trying to be a hero. And the Cowboys players always try to play hero. And that's why we get ran over. It wasn't really the middle. They was killing us on the edges. For some reason, the edge, they going, 20 yards, 30 yards. And then now they can cut back. Now we so worried about their edge. If I'm a running back, I know you play football, bro. So everything got to work together, end up winning. And we just been having bad luck. But I think now, like you say, the structure, the way this guy's going, and you coach these players right, I think you got a good chance of doing some very profound. And like with me, I ain't like most people. I know you're talking about the running backs. Them running backs, man, and I'm going to ask you this question. Did you know, I'm going to take you way back, tell the truth, because I like to tell the truth.
All right.
I'm going to put a Davis, drafted in the 7th round from the Denver Broncos. Did you thought he was going to be that good? Let me ask you that question. Tell the truth.
I mean, I was a Cowboys fan. I wasn't paying attention to the Broncos. But let me ask you
this. I'm just saying, Terrell Davis, did you ever thought he could do what he did?
I mean, there's tons of guys who are undrafted guys or 7th round picks that can have. I mean, talk about Shannon Sharp, right? Shannon Sharp.
Thank you. You just answered the question. So you can't get mad at the Cowboy fans. They got hope. Let them believe, man. I believe like them. They think with the good running scheme, one of them running backs going to turn it off for y'all. Y'all want to bring in them old halfbacks. No, I don't want to do that. Let me see what these young boys do when they put on them, because I'm going to be at the camp. Let me see what they do in the camp. And then I say, okay, let's go get that halfback, because there's going to be a lot of halfbacks cut, and there's going to be a lot of veterans halfbacks out there. You know that. I know that. And like I say, for the D tackles, if they do go get a D tackle, they're only missing one D tackle with them young boys. With the new scheme, one thing I get that guy from Chicago, the coach, Uber, was it Uber?
Eberflus? Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I say about him, I don't care who he up playing for him. I'm like, how is this guy? I got these guys that no-name people we know. They have about 1 or 2 people on defense, and they defense is top 10. What is he doing that we not doing? That means people is playing hero ball for the Cowboys. The smallest D tackle is Osa, 285.
Mm-hmm.
That's the smallest guy. Everybody else is 295 and 300. Your boy Nance Rogers 338. Your boy 342. Your boy the rookie Tommy about 300. Man, they DNs 270. Like sometimes I play Micah all over the place. I want to play him on ends all the time so he can get beat up. I know you'll do it too. I'll blitz him from the middle because you got so many pass rushers now. You can really, I think they can get over 60 sacks if they play their cards right. So all I'm just saying, I know what y'all saying. Let's let these players see what we got in the camp, and then if they horrible, I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna let the fans know because I be on a Law Show sometime. I'm saying, yeah, guys. The contact creators ain't lying. I'm at the camp. That guy getting torched.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. You know, MJ, I was saying, can we wait till we get to camp? You know what I'm saying? Until we start counting. Like, because see, what's happening right now is people are walking off of blind faith, right? And there's only one person I always say, I walk off of faith, not by sight. You know what I'm saying? That's only one person. Yeah. So because what are people thinking that Jay Toye is having a good camp? Because you're saw a reporter tweet it, right? So it's like, wait until you can actually sit back and see it for yourself. And you know, in our community, we will break down every detail, but you can't just be like, okay, we perfectly fine until we actually can see it. So that's what I'm saying. Let's get to the camp. Let's get the pads on. Let's see, you know what I'm saying, some full contact, and then we can start judging. But judging around there running around in T-shirts and shorts, it doesn't just do much for me. You know what I'm saying? So
can't judge.
All right, my dog.
And I like you. Hey, but one more before you leave. I like you say, your boy Flo did turn it out. I was at the camp. They just didn't play him. I don't know what. But like you say, I give you credit. You pointed out the offensive coordinators that we got, the coaching line. I said, man, he broke that down perfect. And they knew, I was telling my friend, there's 2 receiver coaches that everybody wanted. The guy from Oregon and the guy from Ohio State. The guy from Ohio State, number 1. The guy from Oregon, ranked number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we got him. So, hey, the players ain't only playing for the Cowboys. I'm going to help them before I leave to the Cowboys Nation. The receiver, some of the receivers going to get picked up by other teams because this receiver coach is very good, and they can't keep all these receivers. So there's going to be some receivers gone. Other teams going to pick them up. But good show, man.
Yeah,
I like the breakdown. At least you fair because I got to show. My show is coming soon. It's MJ Tell the Truth.
There you go.
So you got to tell the truth when you come on my show.
There you go.
I can't let you.
Yeah, that's the only way to do
I like
is tell the
show,
truth.
Man.
Hey, appreciate you, my dog. Keep doing great work.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
Salute.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with them. I'm just saying, yeah, we got to sit back and wait. But I get it, y'all. All this burying the bodies on Mike McCarthy, because y'all, we made the same mistake with Dan Quinn. This time last year, Dan Quinn was the biggest POS on the planet Earth. He went to Washington and proved that wasn't the case. He was proved that wasn't the case, right? So I get it, right? That kind of that copiism, since they gone, everything is their fault. Let's not act like Mike McCarthy didn't do a lot of good shit in Dallas with his hands behind his back. He never really had Dak Prescott for multiple back-to-back seasons. He never really got to have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup healthy. Like, he never really got those things, and he still made it work. Mike McCarthy definitely improved what Jason Garrett had laid for us, right? And he did it. He had to Mike McCarthy had to battle the whole Kellen Moore thing for 2 to 3 years. He had to deal with that. Then he had to deal with Rico. Like, Mike McCarthy had to deal with some shit in Dallas. It wasn't easy, all peasy. So let's give Mike some credit. Mike did some dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? He ain't perfect. He put his homeboys on, like Lou said. Like, Mike will get his homeboys a job, you know. But the one thing I'll say I'll give credit for, I remember, because this is when I very first started doing content. The thing I give Mike McCarthy the most credit for in his tenure in Dallas is when he coached Nolan, his homeboy, was trash, and our defense fell off a cliff. He said, you got to go, dog. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was going to do it. He cut his homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give Mike some credit. Is he perfect? No. But let's not act like he is just the only reason that the Dallas Cowboys was not winning. That is not the case. All right, we got some more callers keep coming in. We're going to keep on rocking, man. Let's keep on rocking. Got Jersey in the building. Yo, caller, state your name. Where you from?
Hey, my name is Troy. My name's Troy from Jersey.
Hey, what's going on with you, bro?
Not much. I can't complain. I was watching on my other phone. What I do like about Schottenheimer is how he's doing the thing with the culture. Something I wish McCarthy would have did, like putting Parsons block of the deck, two leaders. I feel like you having two leaders, one offense, one defense, having their lockers next to each other, that can actually help out a long way. I feel like with Mike McCarthy, I think there was more separation than there was, pieces coming together as a puzzle. So the fact that
let me pause you quickly.
He's doing all this.
Let me pause you quickly. I don't think that was Mike, right? I really don't. And this is kind of just knowing what I know behind the scenes without saying it. I think it was more about the players that we had in the locker room. There was a massive divide between the old players and the new players, the old veteran guys. I mean, we can say his name is gone, DeMarcus Lawrence and them versus the young core. I don't think that was a Mike thing, so I think that's what Shotty is doing. He recognized that. It's like, okay, let's not let that be, and let's put our old veteran versus our young leader and Micah Parsons together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's basically I should have worded that better, but that's basically what I was trying to say. I feel like if Mike probably would have did that a little sooner, I feel like things would have been a little different amongst the players. And then two, with the defense, like what Mike Zimmer said himself, he didn't want to come in and change. I mean, he wished he would have came in and changed things sooner. I feel like if he would have did that a little bit in the beginning, I feel like the defense then would have been a little better. And then people saying, oh, Dallas, they're fighting for Mike McCarthy last season. But what people also have to realize, the reason why these players was playing so hard, even though we was having that losing season, is, again, they was fighting for a spot on the team. They was fighting, just to have to get picked up by other teams. So it's like, it's more than one reason for, because a lot of people, it was fans saying that, analysts, why shouldn't this team should just tank, and they not on the field and not understanding the determination that needs to be put out there. So I feel like, some people just don't open their mind to that fact.
Yeah, I mean, there are some players, right? You're playing for getting an opportunity for film. Especially what happened was you had a bunch of injuries. These guys didn't have much film, so they were taking advantage of the opportunity. But I will say this, guys, this team, they really liked Mike McCarthy. And they really liked Mike Zimmer. Like, they really liked him because, like, Mike McCarthy, he was a player's coach. Now, he wasn't as active as Shotty probably is, right? But, like, y'all remember when he let Micah go to the fight during camp, stuff like that, But I think the
biggest back to his house.
Yeah. So I think the biggest separation, though, when it comes to Shotty versus Mike was hands-on with his offense. So I remember when Dan Quinn left, Micah Parsons said, hey, Mike McCarthy is starting to take on that role and, talk to me a lot more now that he know that Dan was left. So what Mike was doing is, hey, Dan, you handle the defensive guys, and that was the culture that y'all built over there. I'm going to handle my guys over here. He was more delegating versus Shotty's going to dinner with Micah, to Pickens, to Brandon Aubrey, you name it. He's getting to know everybody together, and that's when Dak was talking about tearing down those walls, where it's not an offensive thing, defensive thing, special teams. Everybody is all lumped in as one big family.
Right, but it's also like they say, it always starts from the top. I think another big deal was, I feel like Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Fossil, I feel like they all wasn't on the same page. I go back to that Bengals game for perfect example. Or the Commanders game, Wanye Thomas, he took that onside kick back for a touchdown. I just looked at it. It was a lot of disconnect with the coaches compared to what they're doing now. I feel like if the coach is not on the same page,
right?
I don't know how they expect the players to be on the same page.
Yep.
So the fact that Shotty's coming in, he's like, no, everybody, we're gonna be on one page, one accord. I feel like that sends a stronger message.
Yeah, I agree because if you kind of look at it, right, it always felt like, especially under Dan Quinn, that it was defense was his own little neighborhood over here and offense was their own thing. You never really saw them interacting. You had the J-Rons and Donovan Wilson, you kind of had that team over there, and then it was just the offense over here. So yeah, I 1000% agree with not being on one accord, because you saw Dan Quinn in the boxing ring with the defensive players, but he wasn't, so I get it. I understand, because like when I played college ball, that's how it was. Like defense was all my roommates was defense. We ate together, we did film together, we did weights, like it was separate. We really didn't see our offensive team until it was time for team drills or on game day. But I feel like sometimes you need that cohesiveness where it's like, okay, offense is struggling. Now I'm Micah Parsons. I can walk over, talk to the offense. Hey, let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one unit. And I think that's what Shotty's really going to help with, is that you're not going to have these big barriers blocking where it's like, okay, you go do your thing over there and I'm going to go do my thing over here.
Right, because I look at it I basically look at like how all the teams, the old teams back in the day, how when the defense they did something immaculate. You had the offense players, they run up to the defense. I feel like if we can get that back, the whole attitude, the whole energy is going to be changed. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was either last week or beginning of this week, Dak was saying something when he was asked a question about the coaching, and he said something about, it's like the offense is with the offense and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it alludes from.
Right. Facts. Well, hey, my God, we got other callers coming, man. Thanks for calling, man, and hopefully we get this season rocking, man. Appreciate you.
Anytime. Stay blessed.
You too. All right. We've been saying in the chat, every coach has their style. Yeah, we know every coach has their style. And Andy Reid is not hanging out with the defense, right? So every coach has their style. That's what I've been trying to explain to Cowboys fans. Like, people act like Mike McCarthy was just doing, and here's what I'll tell everybody, right? This is where people might lead the chat. We got like over, 200 people watching right now. This is, what I'm saying, where our number's going to fall off a cliff. But Tuck's going to tuck, right? Cowboys Nation. All the things that we love about Brian Schottenheimer right now, today, on June 4th, 2025, we will hate that shit in 2 years. We will hate it in 2 years. We'll hate it in 2 years. Bookmark this, clip it, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, store it on your phone. All the cute little shit we love about Shotty right now, we will hate in 2 years. It's just how the nature of the beast is. It's how the nature of the beast is. Winning cures all, right? All the ping pong tables, all the Shotty drinks, all the going golfing, all that shit's cool because we ain't lost no games yet. Let us be a 7-win team for the next 2 years. I guarantee we'll hate all that shit, right? You did it with Dan Quinn, loved everything Dan Quinn did, then we hated it. Loved everything Mike McCarthy did by changing the stripes on the helmet and the Landry shit formation. We loved it. And then we hated it, right? Then, Micah Parsons' podcast was all cute and bubbly. Then it was get off the damn podcast. It's just how things do go, right? So we will hate it in 2 years. Bookmark it, stamp it, time stamp it. We are at the 1 hour and 21 minute mark. We will hate all of it. We'll hate all of it because this is how it is. We love Dak, right? Cute story, Dak. Now every fan can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just how the honeymoon phase goes through life. You know what I'm saying? All right, I think I know who this caller is. This is my dog. Yo, caller, state your name. Where you from?
It's your boy, Stephen.
Yeah, what's up, dog? What's going on with you, man?
And I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Is it still fire the GM, Jerry? Or are we done with all that, bro?
Oh, come on, man. It's still fire the GM Jerry, bro.
Oh man, hey bro, it might just be you and me, bro. That's still in the movement, man. I was about to wear my shirt the other day, and I was like, man, Cowboys fans have left the chat when it comes to firing Jerry the GM. Man, he did one little move and gave Overshown 0, and all was forgiven. Like I said, Jerry Jones is the mastermind, bro. He's cold with it, man. What's going on with you, dog?
Oh no, he is man. He is the kingpin when it comes to when it comes to giving false hopes. I get it. You got George Pickens it does move the needle a little bit,
right?
But I can read between the lines too.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying don't fan. Fan how you want to fan. You want to be excited. Be excited. You're entitled to be excited.
Right.
But there's a lot of things, brother, and I know you know this, man. I posted yesterday, right? And we're gonna be serious. Let's talk ball here. We're not gonna play in 3rd and 8 all the time. So my question is this: why haven't we established or brought in established beasts in our interior? Because look, going down the line, we drafted Dono Ezeraku, 246 outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
We got also Digizua, which I believe the gentleman before me or a couple callers before me was saying he weighs 285. I think he's about 280, 285.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the smaller side of a D tackle, could play edge in some schemes.
Right.
We got Mozzie, which Mozzie's a big question mark, and we got the 7th-round pick from a 7th-round pick from UCLA and Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Big boys, but not established. We don't know what they are yet. And we got Micah, another outside linebacker that's 245. So when you look at it, we got a pretty decent dime nickel package in the front. But what about when it comes down to the trenches, when it's cold weather and teams are going to run the ball? Because we've seen this before, brother. Me and you. We've been to San Francisco together, and we saw Niners run up and down the field on us. The year prior to that, too, and then Green Bay did it the same way. And that's always been the Achilles heel when it comes to the Cowboys. When Rod Marinelli took over this whole defensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
He likes smaller D tackles. He likes finesse. He likes quickness,
mm-hmm.
which is cool. But what about in a game when you got to stop the run?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the personnel. We talk about the San Francisco 49ers always bullying the Cowboys, but they can't bully the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they bully the Ravens? Because there's beef.
Mm-hmm.
You got men that are 355 in the interior. You got guys like their D tackles, their 5 techs are about 320, and the other side's 320. So a lot of what they emphasize on that front is
mm-hmm.
bigger bodies, harder to move, 2 gap, filling gaps, double teams.
Right.
Steelers, same thing with the Steelers, same thing with a lot of those 3-4 concepts. Even the Eagles, if we look at it, yeah, they have a smaller outside linebacker in Nolan Smith, but they got Jalen Carter, who's 320, and they got Jordan Davis, that's 345.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had Sweat, that's 265. So they have a pretty stout front.
And Milton Williams, right?
The Cowboys don't have that, and that's the biggest question I have is like, what are we gonna do to establish this? What are we pass rush situations? I like it. I'm okay with it. But we now are seeing the trend of the NFL taking advantage of smaller defensive fronts. And this has been our problem. And this has been the same problem going back to that 2018 season when the Rams ran the ball for 300 yards.
Right. Constantly. And I'll tell Cowboys fans this, if there's any 7th-round pick that we should hope we can find some pixie dust, and as a miracle, it should be Jay out of UCLA because we need him.
Right.
As of right now, man, I just feel like a lot of people forget the move that really moved the needle for the Dallas Cowboys that year when we were kind of just moving things with Dan Quinn's defense is when we went and got Jonathan Hankins. Y'all remember that brief stint when Jonathan Hankins was out? We were like panicking, right? And everything kind of fell apart because you're not able to keep your linebackers clean. These offensive linemen are able to get up to the second level. It's just a bad mix. And when you're able to not establish yourself at the line of scrimmage, especially in the run defense, I mean, bro, we was there. I remember we had the Mike tag tailgate. We sat there and watched the Ravens just run the ball down our throat, and we couldn't do anything to stop it. It was damn near like they called our bluff, So it's like it can be demoralizing throughout the course of the game if you cannot stop the run. So I think the Cowboys will make a move, but I think they need to make an impact move at this position. Don't just go, oh, okay, we found Jordan Phillips, we brought him back. No. And see, the thing that happened was this time last year, we were still having the same conversation. But what happened? Coach Zim went to that podium and said, oh, Mozzie's cool, but I need a defensive tackle. Actually, I need more noses, actually. Yeah, right. So write that in your pamphlets. I need more nose tackles because this ain't going to cut it. Because you mentioned Osa, okay, 3 tech. Solomon Thomas, 3 tech. You could slide, Sam Williams, possibly. Like, it's all 3 techish. And to have a guy like Whitcotton, who's actually stated numerous times on DallasCowboys.com, I like to rotate my defensive interior. Where's the rotation going to come from? That's the main question.
And that's a lot of that Rod Marinelli philosophy.
Yeah,
they like the small D tackles, and it's a recipe for success.
You want them on go,
pass rushing and creating turnovers. But when it comes to smash mouth football, we're not built like that.
Right.
And that's the problem. Who are we playing this year? We're playing a lot of teams that their philosophy is to run the ball.
Right.
And that's going to be the biggest issue. Then we're talking about it today in June.
Right.
And we're saying, please, because at the end of the day, Micah is a generational player. We can talk about every player, about his size. When it comes to Micah Parsons, he's a 3-4 outside lineman. The same as Lawrence Taylor, the same as Derek Thomas, the same as Von Miller, and these players all played in their scheme. Micah is not a every down edge.
Right.
He even said it himself in the podcast where he's like, look, I'm on the edge now. I feel beat up. Because it's like boxing, right?
Right.
You're a welterweight and you're going 12 rounds, for 5 years with middleweight. Are you good enough to do it? Yeah. Can Floyd go and beat up most middleweights or these boxers the welterweight? They can. But at some point, these punches that these bigger men are throwing are going to hurt. They're going to tire them out. And that's what we've seen with this team. The consistency is that. They're not built to stop the run in December and January, and they're going to play teams like the Lions, like the Eagles, like the Packers, these NFC teams that their whole background, what they emphasize is running the ball and play action. The Niners and the Rams. I mean, we can go on and on, my brother. This is the problem. We're talking about it.
We also play the AFC West. So think about that. We're going to have Genty on the schedule. We have Amari Hampton on the schedule, and we also have R.J. Harvey, possibly J.K. Dobbins on the schedule as well. And so forget stopping the run in winter. We got to stop it in summer, bro. Like, we got to stop it week 1. You know what I'm saying? Out the gate, because I guarantee you the Madden athlete is going to get the ball a few times, and they're going to test our might. And I just feel like that's the one thing that can mentally break this defense is when getting the ball ran down your throat. So they have to make a move. What would that move be? Like the caller said earlier, I would trade it. If they trade a second round pick and got a defensive tackle, I would not be upset with that. But that's pushing your chips in right now. And I feel like the bad part, bro, every offseason, we all see these massive blinking lights, right? We said wide receiver last year. We kind of just knew wide receiver, right? A few years ago, we knew it was linebacker. And they just kind of just wait to address it until it's too late. Why not go and get this fixed right now? That way we don't have to worry about it. And it's going to help your back end. It's going to help your linebackers. It's going to help your corners. It's going to help everything. But I think also the mentality is different. Lou, you might want to earmuff me, but the way the Dallas Cowboys have been putting so much resources with their offensive line for the last years, whether it's free agency, first round draft picks, that needs to now go to the interior defensive line.
Right. And we're seeing, we're seeing a little bit of like what we're seeing. This is me. I'm speaking for myself. We're seeing a team that is primarily going to be built to play with a lead. When you get a player like George Pickens, Dak's gonna. I'm sorry, bro. You got a 1A and a 1A on the other side. Dak's gonna throw the ball 50 times a game.
Right.
Right.
It's coming.
We're gonna be playing for. It's coming. Like you talk about running backs all you want. Dak's gonna throw the ball. Trust me. They're gonna get that ROI on that contract. Now, they're gonna be built to get a lead and rush the passer. But you see, it's situational. It's a situational game. we know, me and you both know that the game is won on the margins.
Right.
If we don't address these blinking lights, like you are saying, the George Pickens trade, all that doesn't mean a thing.
You're right.
It just means a headache for the future. We need to address these things today, and that's the due diligence they need to do. Is you need to address not just bringing a 3-tech. I don't care about a 3-tech. I need me a beefy 320 guy, established player, a veteran that can play the run well.
Right, and if you have that player, it gives you one-on-ones on the perimeter with all these edge rushers that we have. But I tell you before I let you go, bro, the one thing that concerned me is when I saw Micah Parsons even said, hey, when we're scoring points, you can't run. I'm like, oh, hell, you didn't even signed off on it. You know what I'm saying? We should not have.
He drank the Kool-Aid, too. Hey, I'm not going to hate on him, though. Let him get his bag, bro.
Yeah, but I'm like, damn, Micah, bro, like, as a defensive player, you should not be saying your offense to score 30, 35 points a game for y'all to win. Like, hell no.
That's
you know?
wild, bro. That's wild.
So,
but, I forgive him, though.
Yeah.
I know what he's trying to do. But anyway, my brother, waiting for you to come down to Texas. You know what it is.
I'm going to be down there, man. I'll be down there on game day, man.
Continue it, brother.
All right, my dog. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. We got one more caller. I'm going to let them rock here because they've been patiently waiting. I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Hey, caller, state your name. Where you from?
The conference has been locked.
Oh, what's up? My name is Tim from Sacramento.
Hey, what's going on with you, dog?
Yeah, man. I got a shout out to CeeDee Lamb because my last name is Lamb.
There you go, man. There you go. Good. You know what I'm saying? Good name to have. You know, CeeDee's paid up, man. 88 up, man. You see CeeDee's right here, man. Love CeeDee Lamb. I have never. Well, I'll say Dez was kind of a different, same experience. But, you know, since Dez, man, CeeDee Lamb was just a real draft experience. And I always say, thank God we was not in Vegas when CeeDee Lamb got drafted because I'll still be out there, bro, man. So, love 88.
Love 88. And, you know, I've seen Dez, not live, on TV, throw up the X many times on a team I follow, the New York Giants. And the Cowboys always gave us trouble, man, on the offense. When Tony Romo was at the helm throwing to Miles Austin, Cole Beasley stayed getting third down conversions. Hey, man, I wish George Pickens, if CeeDee Lamb pair well, I know they would do well.
Yeah. I think they are. But speaking of the Giants, man, so let's talk. Jackson Dart, was you a Jackson Dart fan? Or was it, you know, you kind of leaning towards your door? What's your thoughts about Jackson Dart and your quarterback situation since I got you a Giants fan on here?
I've heard Jackson Dart on the interview recently. I know he's learning. I actually stopped following football for a while after Odell left the franchise.
Yeah. Smart. You was smart. You picked a good time to jump out, man. You picked a good time to jump out. So yeah, I think the Giants have some talent, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things shake out, man. So before I let you go, man, what's your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys season? How you think they were gonna do this year? Just based off of CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Do you feel they're gonna be contenders or just be another decent, good regular season team?
I think that back then the Dallas Cowboys were ridiculed for not making it too far past the playoffs. In 2007, that's when I started watching, and you know, you guys would get to the divisional, and I think that with your current quarterback, Dak Prescott, I like him getting a lot of shine as far as even commercials, and so he's the golden boy of America's team, and that's enough to propel any organization to really go far as their quarterback takes them.
Facts. Well, hopefully that is the case this year. Hey, my guy, appreciate you for calling in. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, that's the good thing about our channel. We welcome everybody, Giants fans, Eagles fans, sometimes, right? Anybody. So thanks for calling in, man, and you have a good one, bro.
Thank you, Jay Tuck. And you know, Jay Tuck was on the Giants, Justin Tuck.
Yes, and I am not him. You would be amazed how many times I get confused for being Justin Tuck for the Giants. Like people all the time like, oh, Jay Tuck is a sellout. How do you win Super Bowls with the Giants and become a Cowboys fan? I'm like, bro, we are not the same person. I even had a guy come up to me in Miami and was like, yo, are you Jay Tuck? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, I'm a huge Giants fan. I'm just like, whoa, no, not that one. Not that one, man. So, yeah, salute to J Tuck, man. One day I got to do a show with Justin Tuck to show we are two separate people, man. But thanks for calling in, my guy, man. You take care.
Thanks.
All right. Bang. All right, y'all. So appreciate everyone for calling in.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Goodbye. We didn't blow the speakers. You know, we got that situated. All right. So we're good there. I'll get the chat fixed for our next show. I might go. Well, I can't go. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all about that movie pass I got, man. So I'm going to the movies to see Ballerina tomorrow night. So, you know, I probably won't do live. I'll probably just drop a video tomorrow. But probably Friday, I'll probably go live again. Should have the chat back up working. I'll have the phone lines back on, so I want to just make sure they work, you know what I'm saying? So repetition, continuously have the phones on so you guys can call in. And then also, I'm working on this whiteboard thing. It's been a huge headache, you know what I'm saying? I tried it this morning. My computer crashed where I can connect my iPad and I can draw and we can go over plays and do all sorts of stuff. It worked for like 5 seconds. My computer froze and crashed, and I deleted those and stuff. So we're working, man. So that's like I was saying, the off season comes, man. I like to work on this channel. Always try to grow, get better, because once the season starts, man, we want to be all systems a go. But like I said, y'all, most important thing, Junior Adams. I feel like we got us a special one when it comes to our wide receiver coach out of the University of Oregon. I'm excited to see what he does when it comes to this Dallas Cowboys wide receiver room. Man cave is legit, man. So I might be when college drops, I might be streaming out in the man cave playing some college football, because I had set up this studio because I had my PlayStation in here and I was doing the live streaming on Twitch and stuff, playing college football when it first dropped. But what I was realizing, I was in here too much. I was in here playing college football streaming. I was in here doing content streaming. I was in here watching film. Like, I was always in this studio. So I was just like, I got to get out. So I put my PlayStation back into the man cave, because I was just in here way too much. I need to get some outdoors, you know what I'm saying, be outside a little bit. So we're gonna do some fun stuff this channel. Got some guests lined up. Like I said, I'm working on some stuff. I still got to figure out why this just creates its own little video live stream versus the one I already set up. I don't know about that, so I'm working on it, but we'll get it right. And by the time the season gets here, click of a button, we'll be live streaming. So y'all gotta hold me accountable. If y'all see me live streaming on my phone, say, yo, Tut, get in the lab and go put in some work and do in the studio, because we got to make sure things are back up. I don't like using StreamYard. Like, I use StreamYard when we do like Cover 3 and stuff. But this, man, this is how I came in the game. I learned it. I can do all this fancy stuff on here. It's just so much easier. But there's sometimes the thing about this app, what I use with OBS, if it breaks, I just got to fix it my damn self. But it's all right. We'll get it, man. I see it. The U, man. We'll get to some college football, but y'all know it's nolled up, man. Also, for my members, I am getting the members in the chat. We're gonna get all new official icons, because I think we got, let's look like a Mike McCarthy icon. Mike gotta go. Let's see here. Yeah, Mike gotta go. We gotta get rid of these. You know what I'm saying? We got to get rid of these Mike McCarthy icons. So I'm creating a bunch of icons this weekend. So we have all brand new icons. I'm figuring out this little crown thing where we can play games and do giveaways, set goals, do polls, all sorts of stuff, man. It's kind of make the show a little bit more interactive. And I'm talking to Dez about working on some stuff too as well, man. Yeah, you gotta get Mike out of here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna do my dog Mike dirty like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hey, Mike, man. Hey, they hating on you, Mike. You know what I'm saying? I got get some shotties created. Got some shiesties created, man. I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm working up, custom ones. So all the members. I think the membership is $2, $3. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look, man. But y'all know I'll be busy. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And turn on that notification bell so you guys do not miss out. We're probably going to hold off on film. Give a film breather. I feel like sometimes film can be a little overkill. So I don't want to just do films to do it, right? But as we gear up for camp, that is when we'll start to break down some film. Preseason, of course, will be film. Sometimes it's kind of cool to relax from watching film because I do it all year long, especially during draft season. I need a mental break. I don't want to be here and crunching film. So we'll definitely get to it. You guys know how we do, man. So I appreciate you all. Everyone stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and go Cowboys. Peace.